Hi guys, I'm going to make a video today on why my Kickstarter campaign didn't fund. And so for those of you who don't know what Kickstarter is, it's a crowdfunding website, and it's maybe one of a dozen popular type sites. I think Kickstarter is actually the most popular in the crowdfunding sites. Basically the model is you come up with a project and you put it on their website, you make a video and you make a description and you come up with rewards. And then in a nutshell, I'm not going to spend a lot of time talking about what Kickstarter is, but basically people that find your project can actually buy your products or donate money for the rewards that you offer, so you actually get the money to make your project in advance, rather than the traditional method of going upside down money-wise and making your project and then hoping that you can sell it and hoping that you don't lose money. So anyway, it's a great idea, it's a great site, and I tried it and I failed. So I'm going to share with you today the 6 reasons why I think I failed. And I think one of the things that I've talked about before, especially on my blog, if you want to know anything more, I've also got this article up on my blog at willterry.blogspot.com. And just to begin with, I believe in failure. I think failure is awesome. I didn't start the Kickstarter campaign to fail. I actually wanted it to succeed, so I was bummed out that it didn't succeed, but not to the point where I'm devastated, because I knew I really believe in the I Hate Reading project. So that's the project that I put up there. And I really believe in that book. And so I figured if it funds, great. If it doesn't, I'll figure out another way to make it a reality. Okay, so I'm just going to go through this list because I think that we learn through our failures, and I think that we can learn from each other through our failures. So you can actually learn from what I did wrong. So I'll just try to go through some of these. And so number one, I didn't have a launch party. Okay, and I don't think that I had to do all 6 of these things to be successful. I think I only needed to do a few more. So I don't think it's crucial that you have a launch party. But basically what a launch party is you rally your friends together, you gather them together, and you explain, and maybe some family members, and you explain to your close friends, this is what I'm trying to do. And basically you're begging, but you're begging your close friends, and you're saying, I would really love for you to get behind me. Something just fell. I would really love for you to get behind me and support me in any way you can. And if you don't have money, if money's tight right now, then help me by spreading the message, spreading the word. And so the point of the launch party is that before you ever post your project on Kickstarter, you get a group of people around you that understand what you're doing, so that when they see your project, they know right away, they already know what their job is, which is to push it on Facebook and push it on Twitter and things like that. I'm going to sneeze. So their job is they're going to push it on Facebook, they're going to push it on Twitter, and maybe they're going to talk to their friends about it. They're going to talk to their family members, and the whole idea behind that is my number 2, which is your goal on Kickstarter really should be to get a staff pick. So real quick, a staff pick is the staff of Kickstarter. I think it's once a week, they pick certain projects that they really like. It might not be scheduled like that, but from time to time they will, one of the problems on the web is actually finding things. So like if you, let's say you go on Amazon.com, there's millions of books on Amazon.com. You'll never get close to seeing, in any one browsing session, you probably won't even see 1,000 books, but there are millions of books on Amazon. And so there's reasons why you won't see that many, and most of those books aren't doing well for one reason or another. Some of them may be poorly written, some of them you just haven't heard of yet, some of them nobody's done any marketing or hasn't gotten the message out. so they're hard to find. So when you do your project on Kickstarter, you want it to be easy to find. Getting a staff pick is one of the best ways to have your project get found. Now, how do you get a staff pick? How does the staff of Kickstarter find your project or see your project, get excited about it, and make it a staff pick? Well, one thing that a lot of people don't know is that Kickstarter takes 5% of the total money raised. So let's say you're asking for $10,000 on your Kickstarter and you raise $15,000. Well, then Kickstarter is going to get 5% of that. So how much is that? I got to do math real quick in my head. So that's like, so $15,000, 10% would be $1,500. So they're going to get $750 that they're going to take out of that. Plus, Amazon takes 3 to 5%. So that's, and I would figure on the higher number. So really, you're going to lose 10% on your project. Anyway, I'm not going to talk about that right now. But it's important to know because Kickstarter has a financial incentive along with you. Their goals are in line with your project. In other words, you know, they want you to do well. So if you're one of the members of Kickstarter, one of the staff, and you see a project out there that's doing really well, maybe it's only been launched in 2 or 3 days and it's starting to do really well, you're probably going to want to pick that as a staff pick because you make more money when the project makes more money. And so I think what the staff is thinking when they make a staff pick is, do they like the project themselves? You know, do they think it's cool? So, you know, that right there, you really don't have any control over that. But what you do have control over is how many people start backing you right away. Because the other thing that happens is they have a search algorithm set up that's automatic. And as throughout the day, when people fund your project, so if someone kicks in $10 and someone else kicks in $30 and someone else kicks in $50 on your project throughout the day, you will actually raise up in, like, let's say there's 2,000 roughly projects on Kickstarter. You'll move ahead of some of the other projects. And the more people that fund your project, the higher you'll get. And so when you start getting that kind of momentum, it sends a signal to Kickstarter to the people where they're like, wow, that project right there is doing really well. And I think, going back to number one, that having a launch party can really help you get off the ground early on. A lot of that's kind of a hunch of mine, based on how they're picking them, and based on what I would do if I was running Kickstarter. I probably wouldn't back a project that I didn't like. I probably wouldn't back a project that no one's funding, because I would figure, well, the person isn't doing any work, and I would want the person who's behind the project to help bring money into me. So another thing to note is that in your back office on Kickstarter, you can actually see where all the funding is coming from. They show you where people came from. So like if you send an email out with a link to your Kickstarter, it will tell you that you got a funding from, you got $10 from somebody that you sent an email out to. If you put it on Facebook, you'll see on your back office that you'll see Facebook in there, that this $30 came in from Facebook and Twitter and so on and so forth. They'll also show you who came in from an organic search on Kickstarter, so who, their people. And they realize that when they give you a staff pick, they're going to be giving you funding from people who are just cruising around on Kickstarter, which is what you really want. So, my number two is I did not get a staff pick. I think I didn't get one because I really didn't get a good launch. So I think 1 and 2 are kind of the same, or kind of intertwined there. But I think you really have to get a good launch to get out of the gate so that you attract attention and get that staff pick. If you want to check out a really good Kickstarter project, a friend of mine, Jake Parker, launched one called the Antler Boy. So if you go to Kickstarter and search for the Antler Boy, you will see that he asked for $6,000 and he raised $85,000. And one of the reasons that I think he did that, there's a lot of reasons, but he really got a good launch right out the gate. He had a lot of followers on Twitter. He had a lot of people that had already bought his property, the different comics out of the Antler Boy, who, when they saw the project, were excited about it right away. But I think he got a much better launch, and he got a staff pick, and I think that really helped him tremendously. Okay. My number 3 is that I don't think my rewards were enticing enough, and I think that where you want to think that, I guess you want to feel like a lot of people are giving to your campaign just to help out your project because they believe in it. In reality, I think most people are actually looking at it as, do I want this reward or not? Do I think it's worth the money? I think that my words weren't necessarily worth the money. That's actually my number 4. But my rewards were not enticing enough, in that one of the things that I probably could have done better than anything else in the rewards was I chose to paint my images for my children's book and app in Photoshop, which is what I work in now. And the reason for that is because of how quick it is. I used to paint in acrylics, and I was toying with the idea, do I go back to acrylics so that I have original artwork to then give away? And I thought no, I'm not going to do that because it's going to take more time. I can get it done in half the time with Photoshop. And looking back on it, I probably should have done that. I think if I had done that and had original art to give away, that could have maybe added another $1,000 or $2,000 to the project. So there's that. Number 4, we were trying to fund the app first, and I think I just charged too much for the app. So we were asking for $10 and then $15 if you wanted to have your name in the credits in the back. I guess nobody really wanted that. And so, but for me, myself, you know, I wouldn't, thinking about it myself, it's like, I wouldn't, for a children's story app, I wouldn't want to pay $10. And I think other people were the same way. They probably didn't want to pay $10 when they knew that in the store, in the app store, when it finally reaches there, I'm going to be charging probably, you know, $1.99, $2.99 for the app. So they're probably figuring, you know, I'll just wait for it to come out. So that was kind of a tough one. And when I was looking at other people's Kickstarters, a lot of them were doing physical books. And for a children's book, you expect to pay $15 retail. So it's the pricing structure is a little bit easier, I think, when you're doing a printed book versus an app in that regard. So number 5, I didn't nurture my campaign on a daily basis. Part of the reason for that is I'm extremely swamped with work right now, with freelance work and with my own projects and trying to get ready for the school year coming up. And so I didn't take the time to nursemaid my little project each day, and I kind of let it fall off people's radar. The other problem with that was I was trying to find a balance, and part of me was thinking, well, I don't want to bug people. I think that if you're gonna do a Kickstarter campaign, you need to be prepared. It's almost like running for president in a way. I mean, I think you have to be prepared to go the distance and to be creative. I actually came up with some creative ideas towards the end, but I think it was a little too late for that. But I think if there's a creative way where you can make an update where it's not, you never want to be in the position of begging. You never want to bug people and go, please, 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 please. I actually saw a video on Kickstarter where the people for 3 minutes on their video were begging people to fund their project. They were just in the camera begging, please, please, please fund my project. Nobody wants that. So that was one thing that I was kind of afraid of doing, and I think I went too far the other way, and I didn't nurture it enough. And then 6, and this is probably a big one, I didn't reach out to like-minded people. So for my app, because I hate reading, what I didn't do was reach out to educators and teachers and those types of organizations and do a lot of homework on the computer. Again, it would have taken a lot of time to go on and do a lot of Google searches to find organizations and try to make contact and try to say, you know, hey, I would love to let you know about my project, and if there's anything you can do to help me get this funded, you know, if you have a newsletter, if you have a magazine, if you have a website, could you put out the word and put out the vibe of what I'm trying to do? And if they believe in your project, that you never know what could happen there. Because I think that mine, the I Hate Reading book, really is meant for reluctant readers, and I think a lot of people would have gotten behind that project if they had just known about it. And so those are the 6 things that I think I could have done to make my project fund that I didn't do. But the good news and the silver lining is, one, I got the experience. If I ever do a Kickstarter again or any other kind of a crowdfunding website project, I will know a lot more. I'll be much more equipped to do a successful one. The other thing is, I am actually talking with 2 publishers right now about the possibility of them buying the manuscript and the artwork and turning it into a physical book. So that's really cool. They contacted me from the Kickstarter project, so it kind of came from that. And so, you know, cross my fingers on that one. And the other good news is that we're still planning on making the app. So it's all good. We'll have to cut our resources a little bit. I mean, we'll have to cut back on some of the things that we were going to do in the app that would have cost a little bit more money, and we'll have to come out of pocket to do some of it ourselves. But you know, in the end, we believe in it, and so we think that it's going to be worth it. So anyway, good luck if you decide to do a Kickstarter project. I think it's a great way to try to fund certain projects. And I think in the end, really, if the project has to be great, it has to resonate with people. And I would say, before you launch a Kickstarter campaign, ask yourself, would I back this project? And try to be honest. You know, if someone put this project up, sent me an email, and I read through it and I saw the video, would people really back it? You know, and I'll put a link to this. I guess I can put it on the video, to the Kickstarter project, so you can do it. But if you just go to Kickstarter and type in "I hate reading," I don't know how long they'll leave it up on their website, but you can check out what I did and look at my video and stuff like that. Anyway, thanks for watching.